Now it's time for Laura Solon, Talking and Not Talking. That's the name of the show, Talking and Not Talking. I'm presuming she called it Talking and Not Talking because she talks in it and then doesn't talk for a bit. It's a funny title really though, isn't it? Talking and Not Talking. You'd think she'd just call it Talking because obviously not talking, that's just dead air, isn't it? But you can't call a show Laura Solon Dead Air. Talking and Dead Air. See, it doesn't work, does it? Talking and not talking.
Talking and not talking with Laura Solon.
The environment always makes me think of the countryside, which makes me think of a guy I know who lives there called Nigel, who's a tit. So I think, well, if we do destroy the environment, Nigel will die, and that makes me happy. Is that so wrong?
I've got a friend, and she can talk to the animals, and she asks them about climate change, and apparently they're shitting themselves. True story.
I worry about those longer-lasting light bulbs. Do they mean that every time a cartoon character has an idea, the light bulb that appears above their head is going to stay on screen for longer? Because that's going to slow things down.
I don't care if we do destroy the environment, as long as we take the wasps down. I want to see the wasps go down. Your history, wasps. You're gone, yeah? Sting this!
Now, I think, touch wood, that today is going to be another good day. Having said that, you can never be too sure. I thought yesterday was going to be a good day. Then at lunchtime I heard voices telling me to kill myself. Not in my head, I just don't get on with the couple downstairs, which is quite unhelpful really if, like me, you're trying to stay calm. Now, my trouble started 6 months ago when I went paintballing with the office. I'd never been before, so I was nervous but quite excited. And 10 minutes in, I accidentally shot my teammate Anne in the face. And the leg, back, neck, arm, twice in the tits, tied her to a tree. I felt ashamed, but I won't lie, at the same time, strangely elated. But I woke up the next day feeling fine, went into work, and everything seemed normal till I bumped into Wendy in the corridor. Now, I don't like Wendy. They say you are what you eat, which means at some point Wendy ate a specky Welsh Nazi. But she is a manager, so usually I try to be civil. Anyway, she asked me if I would take her parcel to the post room. I said no. She said, please. I said no. She said, go on. I said no. She said, you're selfish. So I pushed her down the stairs. I wasn't formally charged, but the magistrate did order me to attend therapy for my condition, so once a week I go to this hall, talk about my anger. It's quite boring, really, but some people are fun to be around, like Martin, who's a binge eater, so if you take in chocolate hobnobs, you can actually make him sweat. And then there's Janet, who's been a neurotic for the past 5 years following a car accident. But recently she's developed obsessive-compulsive tendencies, so I asked her to move in with me, because I hate cleaning.
Not many people know this, but Mensa, the Society for People with Exceptionally High Intelligence, was recently rocked by allegations of bullying and so-called beasting amongst its members. Now, I managed to speak to some of the victims. A lot of them still live in fear and ask for their voices to be obscured to protect their identity. Of course, I said yes, but I'm not going to because I can't work the machine. Anyway, here's what some of them had to say.
I joined Mensa in 1981, and it was lovely back then. Used to meet up and have fun over maths puzzles and those funny sequences with the geometric shapes. Triangle, 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 spoon. That was my favourite one. But then last year I went on a mental exercise camp in Wales, and I struggled with this verbal reasoning problem. So they covered me in jam and made me stand between two other members and pretend to be a sandwich. I've never felt so stupid, except when I went on 15-1 and said Banbury was the capital of Mexico. That was the worst. William G. Stewart called me a plank.
Stephanie's testimony is not unique. I also spoke to Mark Willis.
I asked you not to use my real name?
Oh, yeah. OK. I also spoke to Merck Wallace, and he said he'd had similar trouble.
It was April. I'd gone down to London for the weekend for a mental arithmetic tournament. Basically, a room full of single virgins shouting out numbers. Anyway, I got to the quarter-final and went to bed early to get a good night's sleep, but one of the organisers ordered a code red, and at 3 a.m. I was awoken, beaten, and then left tied to my bed with a gag in my mouth. I died. But Tom Cruise prosecuted my commanding officer with a great speech about crystals.
No, he didn't. That's a few good men. The bullying was clearly a widespread problem, and today I am joined by Mensa recruitment officer Anthony Bell. Anthony.
Salve, Puela.
Prick. Anthony, there seems to be quite a problem with bullying in your organisation.
No, there isn't.
Yes, there is.
No, there isn't. And you smell?
Great argument, Anthony. I thought you were supposed to be a brainiac.
No, someone's in a bad mood.
No, someone isn't.
Yes, you are. You're in a bad mood.
I'm not.
You are? What's the problem? Women's issues?
Shut up.
No, we'll see.
I hate you.
Women. Can't live with them. Not allowed to hit them.
This morning when I woke up, I was very, very huffy. Almost as huffy as the time cleaner cleaned my bathroom, and I didn't like it, so I hit her with a stick. She cried. Good times. I love it. One of the women made me say sorry, but it did not count, because I hate cleaner and had my fingers crossed behind my back. Ha, 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 ha. Anyway, I was feeling sulky socks, so I went to the drawing room for some counsel with a China lion. Now, China lion is a firm pal whom I made in an art class at my Hamburg school. The teacher said, a lion, he should be yellow. I said, piss off, I will paint him blue. Now, China lion sits on the mantelpiece so he can see the window, so he can see the door, and so he can spy on the rabbit made of bronze. And after some idle chit-chat on the weather, he tells me that he wants to make a secret den. And let me tell you, if China lion does not get what he wants, he will open a whoop-ass on your head. So, they clippy-clop up to my room and make the preparations. China lion puts the bed against the door, thus I pull all the clothes from the drawers and all the books from the shelf and throw them out the window at the garden man. But weedy-woo, he does not even move. So, we march downstairs to where he sits and shout, garden man, why are you not picking up the crap? But again, he does not move a single inch, just sitting there on his toadstool, bold as jam, with his beard and plastic hat. Then one of the women who's in the kitchen comes running out and says, Madame, that is not the gardener, that is a garden gnome. But all I hear is, meh, 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 meh. So I shout, you're a gnome, and punch her in the bum. They put me on the naughty spot and made me do my homework, you know, and so what? It's just drawing and a few numbers, easy street. Then I said, women, I'm finished, and then I got on my bike, rode round, good times, I love it.
To work in any gift shop is a privilege, but to work in a royal gift shop,
It is an honour.
Because when you work in the Souvenir Emporium at Buckingham Palace, you are working directly for, pray silence, Her Majesty the Queen.
Well, technically you're working for Sue Beresford.
Technically, yes.
And above Sue there's Andrew Edwards and that screech of gaze.
There is. And then that awful Belgian woman who smells of prawns. No one knows why. But above that, you are working for the Queen herself. And what better way to serve Her Majesty than to sell her souvenirs at a premium to tourists? I mean, obviously another way to serve her would be to join the army, but green's not really my colouring, well, you'd just be bullied senseless.
Yes. You see, I make a high-pitched noise when I run. Ah! They'd just put me in a military prison and make me do press-ups till I died.
Whereas here we take money for lovely, lovely trinkets, and they are lovely. We've got mugs, we've got plates, jumbo pencils, and this rather delightful Hoover cover in the shape of the Queen. And it's reversible, so if you do get the chance, you can also use it as a Queen cover in the shape of a Hoover. You won't get the chance.
And don't forget all the lovely beefeater bears.
I can't, David.
All shapes and sizes. One so big that when Anne-Marie's husband saw it, he had a heart attack and nearly died.
Very nearly. So by selling all of these things, we are doing our duty to our much-loved Queen.
But I tell you who isn't much loved. The Duchess of Bloody York.
Oh, God, no. No, she's bloody not. The Queen is the finest wine, whereas Fergie is bin juice.
What's bin juice?
That horrid liquid that smells at the bottom of bins.
Gross, yes. Ugh.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was in with all the greats, all the big names. Mad Frankie Fraser, Big Bill Hitchens, Jimmy the Nut, Killer, 1-2, and Shitface, who actually had very good bone structure. We was a proper crime ring, you know. Pulling off jobs, then popping over to Marbella to launder the cash. Lived the high life, brothers in arms, and crime. And then in the 90s, I just said, enough's enough, and I retired.
That's not what happened.
Jean, I thought you was in the pool.
You didn't retire. They kicked you out. Didn't want to be your friend no more. And why was that, Billy? Why was that?
Because I got my hair permed.
And?
I looked like a knob.
Yeah, so the guy asked me if I want a warranty with it, and I'm thinking, does Mackie Chang want to be a warranty kind of guy? You know what I'm saying? And
Sorry, what was that word you just said?
Mackie Chang?
Who is that?
Well, it's me. Well, I'm trying to make it me.
Why would you do that?
Well, look, it's all right for you. I mean, you've got a nickname. You know, well, you've got a few, actually, but some aren't that nice. All my life, basically, I've been called Philip, and it's boring. No one ever abbreviates it to Phil, and I thought the other day a change is as good as a holiday. Well, unless it's a holiday to Weston-super-Mare, in which case the change is just way better. So anyway, I came up with a short list, picked Mackie Chang as the winner, and now I'm dropping it into sentences to help it catch on.
Right, and Mackie Chang was really the best one you came up with?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was either that or Filipino, and I think some people will object to that. Because, you know, I mean, it's ethically sensitive, isn't it? And Mackie Chang, don't want to be no racist, you holler.
Does Mackie Chang have to speak like a wanker?
No, but it adds another layer to him. Y'all, check it.
I am going to go and eat my lunch over there.
Great. Can I come?
No. But you know, if you go out that door, down the stairs, out the back exit, left down the street, straight on, right again, you get to a park.
Yep.
You should go and eat your lunch there.
Lindy! 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 That's Lindy, my red setter. She is in the yard, barking at rats. She's a lovely dog, really. Wouldn't hurt a soul unless you are a rat, in which case she will destroy you from the inside out, rip out your lungs, and use them as a storage facility. Now, here at Chingley Hall, we watch a lot of films. I love films, Lindy loves films, my sister Phyllis loves films, although she never has the time to watch them because she's got no legs. Takes her about 7 hours to shuffle down to the breakfast room, by which point it's time for her to go back upstairs to bed, by which point she has 10 minutes before she starts shuffling down to the breakfast room, and so on and so on. She hasn't slept since 1994. But to meet the cost of reparations, we are currently hiring ourselves out as a film set for a new new production of Far From the Madding Crowd. Reese Witherspoon will play Bathsheba, Orlando Bloom will play Gabriel, and in a bold piece of casting, the Madding Crowd will be played by rats.
In my spare time, I like to pretend I'm Stanley Kubrick. It's harder now he's dead, but I like the challenge.
Sometimes in my spare time I get hungry, so I sprinkle cheese on a piece of toast and put it under the grill for a few minutes. And here's where it's clever. I don't call it cheese on toast. I call it toast under cheese. And it's brought a lot of happiness to my life.
I like bruising fruit. Some people say to me, why do you go around bruising fruits at random? Why do you do that? Why? That apple's ruined now. No one can eat it. Why did you just do that? That's the thing about people. They go on. Fruits just take the bruise.
I love making my house look great. Although the other day I bought one of those self-assembly wardrobes, right? And it was weird because I don't know if I did it wrong or what, but when I finished, the back of the wardrobe just fell off and I found myself in a self-assembly Narnia. And it was a nightmare. Took me ages to put Mr. Tumnus together. And of course, at the end, I had a hoof left over.
So, we are having a party in our house for our neighbor who is nearly dead.
Yes, she is very old and made of dust. If you push her, maybe she would break into powder.
So we are cooking a traditional meal, which I'll tell you recipe. You take one potato, and that is all, and then you drink a lot so you don't have to eat it.
I am doing music, and we know what to have when she walks in.
Daniel Bedingfield. If you're not that one, then why does my hair fast lane?
We also know what to have when she sit down.
Daniel Bedingfield.
I've got to get through it. Hot pocket. And we know what to have when she leaves.
Chris Rea. There is a road in hell. Making joke. Daniel Bedingfield. Because, to be simple, you can have him every time when people are happy, when people are sad, and when people are nearly dead.
You've got to get through it. You've got to get through this. If you don't like that, your heart is on the outside of your body in the bin.
I wouldn't say the neighbours were trouble as such, but they are always trying to go one better than us. We got new patio doors, they got a new conservatory. We got a new dishwasher, they got a Vietnamese woman in. That last one was a bit OTT, I thought. We had them round for a really fancy Chinese meal, and when it was their turn to repay the favour, you'll never guess what they did to trump my homemade fortune cookies. They hired a Russell Grant lookalike to burst out of a great big cake and do our horoscopes. Ridiculous.
It was just one of those eureka moments, except I wasn't in the bath. I was at home making lunch, and suddenly it dawned on me that there was nowhere in my local area where people could go and buy very expensive bread. So I did a course, two actually, one to learn how to make bread and one where I learned how to write labels with very high prices. And within 6 months, I'd opened up a shop. And there was a real buzz about the place, people saying to each other, have you seen that new very expensive bread shop on the high street? What, the one next to the shop that sells very expensive cheese? That's it. I went in there the other day, I paid £8 for a baguette. Amazing. I'm now going to enjoy it with my cheddar that cost £1,000. And people can't get enough of the place. And part of me wants to tell them, Peeps, what are you doing? It's just flour and water and yeast. Yeah, sure, some of it's got olives in, and this one's named after an Italian prince, but let's not go overboard. It's still just bread.
But the other part of me tells me to shut up because it loves the smell of their cash. The other day, after closing, I drew the blinds, took my clothes off, and then rubbed myself all over with the 50s in the till. I was so happy, I cried. Tomorrow, I'm going to fill a bucket with 20s and just sit there with my feet in it. I can't wait. It's going to be superb.
So, he asked Marcy if he can wash her rocks for her.
You're kidding.
No, it's absolutely
Wait,
true.
he's coming, he's coming.
Guys.
Oh, God, look busy.
Hey, guys. I was wondering if you needed any help in your trench.
Well, that's very kind of you to offer, Dick, but we're all set, thanks.
Oh, okay.
Maybe Ed and the other guys need some help in theirs?
No, I just came from over there. They said they were just fine.
Well, what about Marcy? She's on her own in hers. Maybe she...
I'm fine!
I just asked her as well. She said it was more of a one-person job. So, are you sure you don't need any extra digging? I have a virgin trowel, and it sure would be fun to christen it.
There's not really enough room, so no.
I could scooch in there, maybe behind Mike.
No, come on, it's not really big enough.
Okay.
Oh, Dick, why don't you go and start your own trench?
Sure. Okay. I guess that would be logical. Okay, see you later. Okay. You know, I'm pretty fast at digging, so if any of you guys feel like checking out a new trench, yeah, they're not listening, Dick. Okay.
This painting's just breathtaking. I mean, the colours, the contours, the way that mother cradles the child. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Just to stand here and let it wash over us, you know. There's water, water of life. Jesus gives us the water of life. There's water.
Okay, so that's 2 cappuccinos and 1 tart.
Yeah, Kylie's good, isn't she?
What?
Kylie, great performer. Catchy tunes and lavish costumes.
Yeah, I suppose.
Will and Grace is good as well. It's so funny because he's gay.
Yeah,
I tell you what else is good. Gay rights and porn with just men in.
Yep. Right, is that all? Or?
Yes, thank you, yes.
Well, that went very, very well, don't you think?
What were you doing?
Our waiter was clearly gay.
So?
So I thought, I wonder if he knows that we know that he's gay. And now I think that he does.
I am a lock keeper. I keep the Marsh Lock, which is just down the canal from Henley-on-Thames. And on a typical day, I get up, make myself a cup of tea, then someone wants to come through the lock, so I go out and let them through. Then I go back inside, and just as I'm about to sit down and drink my tea, another vessel comes through, so out I go to open up the lock once again. Then I go back in, barely sit myself down when I have to go out and let another one through, maybe 2 in a row. Then it's back in, make myself a new cuppa, because the old one's gone cold. Out again, open lock, in again, out again, in again, out again, up and down like a woman's mood. In, out, lunch, in, out. Then around 4 p.m. I go very quiet and I stop blinking. And then when the next boat comes through, I take off my shirt, write, "Mummy dead, I wear her head," across my chest. Then I run towards the vessel screaming, "All day, every day, it's like a dripping bloody tap. I will kill you! I will kill you with my Stanley knife!" And then usually, the rest of the day, I sort of have to myself, really. Just sit in my chair with my tea and chillax.
I bet you I can name 5 shows where the lead character is not human.
I'm sure you can.
No, I bet I can. You have to bet I can't.
Why?
Just do it.
Okay, I bet you can't.
Well. Look who's about to lose a bet. It's you.
The Muppet Show, Metal Mickey, Alf, Tales of Farthingwood, and Bergerac. Ha, ha, ha. 1-0.
Bergerac starred John Nettles as a detective.
Wasn't there a fox with a magic hood?
No.
OK, I bet you I can name 4 shows where the lead character is not human.
How was your date?
Which date?
The date. The one with Amanda.
Oh, yeah, up and down. Up and down. Some people might say more downs than up, but some people are quite negative in their outlooks, aren't they?
OK. Well, what happened?
Well, we met in town for a drink, which went very well, so an up. And then, because she'd said that she liked musicals, I surprised her with 2 tickets for Starlight Express.
How lovely.
No, it wasn't. Because what she didn't tell me is that she has a phobia of people on wheels. I'm not exactly sure why, but I think it's something to do with the fact that after her mum died, her dad put this mannequin on top of a remote-control car, dressed it up in her mum's clothes, and would then wheel it into her room in the middle of the night saying, Mummy's back, all better now.
Bloody hell.
Anyway, she didn't say anything about that, so we just sat in the theatre. And then the curtains rise and she freezes. Tears pouring down. And then when they get going with Starlight Express, Starlight Express. Yeah, they came quite near our seats and she just starts screaming, get them away from me. Get those bloody wheelie gimps away from me. Which was a bit embarrassing because there were some people in wheelchairs down at the front. And they thought she was talking about them, but she wasn't, OK? She likes disabled people and often goes to shopping centres to watch them go up and down on the ramps.
Really?
Yeah, she says it's inspiring. Anyway, for the next 10 minutes, she's just shaking and screaming and crying and shouting and biting. And, I'm thinking, this is a down. And eventually, I persuade her to leave the auditorium for some fresh air. And we're out there for about half an hour, breathing together and me telling her it's okay, it's okay. And all of a sudden the theatre empties for the interval and this American guy comes up to us and says, thank you so much, your Scream song was fantastic, really the best thing in the entire show. And he thrusts 200 quid into my hand.
You're joking.
No. So I gave Amanda 20 quid, put her in a taxi home, and spent the rest of the money on a soapy lap dance in Spearmint Rhino. Best night of my life. Best night of my life.
Talking and Not Talking starred Laura Solon with Ben Moor, Katherine Parkinson and Ben Willbond. It was written by Laura Solon, with additional material by the cast, Carl Cooper, Andy Marlatt and Tony Roche. Original music was by Ozzy Miso and the producer was Colin Anderson.
Hello, it is me, Mimi, who is calling from the house. Is this the number for the predictive future speaky line? What? Horoscope? Shut up, there is no such word. I want to know what lies in store for me, as in Mimi, the woman from the house. Will I be happy? Will I be rich? Will the cleaner mate with a Volvo and bear a child with wheels? What? Well, I don't exactly know the name of my star sign, but I do know it is a picture of a cat with a hammer, and some twins, and a fish. Yes, I can give you my date of birth. Have you got a pen? Good. It is 01-25. 1. Spaghetti hoops. I'm bored now. Shut up, go away.